And we are live. Good time zone, everybody, and welcome. It is Tuesday, and that means it's time for Horde of Tales Convergence Manifesto. It's been a week since we've been back, or 2 weeks actually. It's been 2 weeks since we've been back. We had some very fun one-shots on this channel in the past week. We had the Mothman one-shot, we had the Emerald Templar one-shot on Sunday, but today we are back with 3 out of 4 of our players to continue their adventures in Eberron. And tonight, or today at least, whatever time it is, wherever you are currently, we have with us our Ida, we have our Austin here, and we have our Carolyn here, and I am Marcus, who has the honor of being the Dungeon Master for this fantastic bunch of people. Everybody, how are you all doing?
Doing very good, very happy, and I want to dedicate today's stream to Serial. We miss you. Get all your energy back because we can't wait to play with you again. And I hope you have lots of backup characters ready. We're not doing this. This is all gravity and all the GM.
It's all gravity and the DM. Yes, that's how you can describe that. But yes, indeed, all love out to Serial for today for this session, and hope to have you back here as soon as possible again. Well, I'm also very excited because where we left off last session, so let's get to that as quick as possible. But before that, let's get a few of our announcements out of the way. As you might have noticed by looking at your URL in your browser or on your smartphone or whatever, it's that you're on Twitch on the Horde of Tales channel. Here on Horde of Tales, we stream tabletop RPGs, and this is our weekly D&D 5th edition Eberron game, where we run the adventures of the Convergence Manifesto. Our Convergence Manifesto adventures are part of the Across Eberron adventures, which you can find at acrosseberron.com, should you also want to experience these adventures. The group is currently in the 3rd adventure of the series, Rime or Reason, and the overlay that you see here is visually created by Carolyn, and the character art for our amazing player characters, who are in no mortal danger at all, is a co-op between Carolyn and Serial. The music that you hear on this channel is by Dark Fantasy Studios, and as our virtual tabletop, we use Astral VTT. Should you see any kind of combat maps here, they are most likely made in Dungeon Draft, which is an amazing and simple tool to create your own battle maps. Also, on this channel, we love cats, and thus, we have the power of Cat Vantage to be available here. It works pretty simple. If you see an actual living and breathing cat on the stream, you can redeem your channel points to grant one of the players, including the GM, Cat Vantage if you want to. Cat Vantage then gives them advantage on their next roll, and going by experience, sometimes that can really help. And last session might have had some good uses for a cat, so keep your eyes peeled for our feline friends and for any additional support we can give our adventurers. With that being said, I think we can go to our intro and then continue the adventure.
I mean, there's nothing else. I don't have a plan.
No? Well, let's find out after the intro how this goes.
Wait, I have to show something.
Oh.
Because the viewers don't see this that good. I made a t-shirt for our group.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, turn around.
Check.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wait.
Turn around.
Ah.
Oh, and that's the logo on the back. Ah, this is cool. This is really cool.
I want one.
A+ merch.
I also desperately need me one of those. Well then, let's roll our intro and then roll right into the adventure. Be right right back.
Our channel.
She says, as we just went right back after the intro. And
Relax to the sound of dice. All those D8s. There's no D12s in this stack.
Nope, none exist.
Not in my stack, at least.
D12s are a myth.
all right then. Thank you for that, Ida. Last time on Convergence Manifesto, our group of brave adventurers hired by the Clifftop Adventurers Guild and Madres de Loranda, a family member of Delphine, you continued your adventures on Ice White Isle, going into the strange frozen tower that also seemed to be inhabited by a strange voice that likes to speak with you telepathically. In the tower, you found the survivors from the Deathgate Adventurers Guild and Darien de Loranda, the third Loranda in this adventure. All of them seem to be a bit shaken, but at least alive, and not that happy to have some extra help here on the island. However, these circumstances make strange bedfellows, and after some tense discussions, some intimidation and conversation, both sides agreed to at least leave each other for now, while Rayn had some more interactions with the strange voice that eventually granted her and the party further access into the tower, but not before also delving into the mind of Rebus. The bodiless entity, utterly fascinated by the party, decided to allow them to pass further into the tower through a magical door. Our adventurers decided to leave Mages and Darien for now with the Deathgate adventurers while they would further explore the tower. You stepped through the gate, entered into some murky, dark liquid that eventually brought you further up on this spire. Traversing an icy cold ledge, while eyes in the frozen material beneath you follow you, you soon had another conversation with the weird voice, which was interrupted by a curious Rayn who investigated a door and seemed to awaken a freezing cold, gelatinous ooze that drooped off from the door, and combat fell upon our adventurers. A fight that was solved in an interesting way by blowing the ooze off of the ledge. However, the ooze had its gooey pseudopod wrapped around Rebus, and Rebus was also dragged into the abyss, but Delphine would not have that. In a smite-powered blow, she leapt off the edge, cut through the pseudopod, and brought an end to the ooze, but a start to a fall. And that's where we pick up right now. Currently, to describe the situation again, we have the frozen ooze, which is now, its remains still stuck to the icy tower. Its pseudopod that was cut off falling. And so are Rebus and Delphine. While Dythun and Rayn are on the edge, on ground, not falling. 50% are on safe ground, 50% are out in the abyss.
Isn't
What do
it
you-
like
Wonderful way
that?
to put that.
Yeah, isn't it like that Rebus is holding to a piece or like to some rope?
Rebus has Featherfall on them, but also has an
Uh-huh.
ooze weighing them down.
No, not anymore.
that was Delphine cut through the pseudopods, and Rebus is indeed. Rebus did hold on to a rope at the end of the session, so they do have a rope. They have Featherfall cast on them, and that makes it, well, they have at least something to hold on to. But Delphine, you are, after cutting through the pseudopod, you're in a bit of a free fall. So what are you all doing in this moment?
They were rather good companions, weren't they, Dyton?
Delphine had, like, grabbed the rope but didn't tie it to anything, right? And just jumped.
She didn't. I don't think she grabbed the rope. She just went.
I swear somebody had a rope.
Yes, but not one that Delphine, because she didn't have any movement left, so
Dythun,
just kind of yeeted down.
Dythun, you
That's
threw out
right.
a rope towards Rebus, and Rebus, you're holding basically the rope that Rebus is also holding.
Right.
All the confusion.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I should just jump too.
So, okay. Let's do something before my character falls to their death. But because they are just discussing almost the same what to do. I will use one of the 1,000 feather tokens that I've got to slow my fall.
Right.
And I guess at the moment it's the only action that I can do, or can I do this as a bonus action?
I'd say we're currently kind of out of any kind of initiative or action stuff, so we're more in kind of this in the drama of the scene to see how you solve this. So you can you pull out one of your feather tokens because you made sure you have a few of those just in case, and that decision is paying off right now. You pull one out of them out, quickly give them a rub, and you already feel your fall slowing down.
Okay, then next thing. We all had some climbing kits with us.
Right, yeah.
Okay, cool. That means I probably have some rope with a grappling hook on it.
Probably.
Okay, cool. Then I'm using this to basically try to get it fastened somewhere, like basically throwing it up, hope that it's grabbed somewhere. That I'm.
What you could
not
try,
climbing
what you can still see from your falling angle is that up on the ledge, on some places there are these clusters of icy crystal growing out of the ledge. So you could try and aim your rope with the grappling hook towards those.
That would be great.
As you throw them, I need you to make an athletics check to see how it works. And you have Catvantage, powered by Gwynora. Thank you very much for
And I have disadvantage because of exhaustion. So this
which means we have a straight roll. Good on you for keeping the exhaustion in mind.
Oh, that is good. That is good. That is actually pretty good, thanks to the advantage. What was it? Acrobatics?
Athletics.
Okay, it could have been better, but it's 18.
18 is indeed pretty good. As you, while your fall is slowing down, you reach into your bag, pull out the rope with the grappling hook, you swing it out, and you see the grappling hook fall into this cluster of crystals where it clinks in there, the rope tightening, and you're now, since you're falling slower, it's this really weird thing where the rope is falling faster than you because the rope is not affected by the feather fall, so the rope droops a bit, and you just fall slower behind it, but you have a stable grip on the rope. It's fastly secured in the crystal, and you're making progress here.
Good.
In the meantime, Rayn is going to kind of shuffle to the edge of the cliff, calmly sit down so he's not in a precarious position to fall over. Take out her rope. Would we have caught or seen that Rayn that Delphine has somehow affixed something to the edge of the mountain?
Yeah, I mean, it is very misty and foggy up here, and it's already somewhat darker, but you would have totally seen suddenly this grappling hook been thrown up, and now slowly Delphine probably making her way along that rope.
Okay.
So you would have no reason to believe that Delphine is still falling to her
So-
inevitable end.
Rebus is still falling, though.
Yes, but Delphine, you have a grip on the rope that Rebus is holding.
Okay. So, potentially Rebus is also okay now.
Are you? Well, you do notice as they are still falling, you're holding the rope, and Rebus has Featherfall cast on them. So they are also falling a bit slower. You feel that the rope is a little bit loose at this point because the rope is lax, being pulled down by gravity faster than Rebus is. But you do know that Rebus is holding on to it.
Okay, can I just bear down and start pulling the rope then?
Sure, give me an athletics check to see how well you do that. It's not. This is more a measure of how well and fast you can do it. This is not that you can fail it, but more like to see how well you do it.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Well, that certainly shows that Delphine is a strong Leonin, and you start pulling that in, and as you do that, you see Rebus' form coming closer to the edge, and with just a few good pulls, you have them back at the edge. They pull themselves up, and they look at you. Thank you, Delphine. That was quite thrilling.
Are you okay? You don't seem like yourself.
I'm rather perplexed by this turn of events right now, though I must be fair, I should not be too surprised considering that we are on a magical frozen island with a disembodied voice talking to us.
So you make it sound like the only normal thing here is that we're constantly falling off high places.
There seems to be a constant in our tendency to fall off of precipices and have encounters with gravity.
That's almost
mean-
reassuring.
When we get back, I'm ready to start a petition to call the organization the Cliff Fall Adventurers, but,
Well, before we go further into thinking about new names for the organization, is Miss Delphine all right?
Oh, right.
They are having their chit chat and Delphine is just climbing herself up somehow.
Do you need some help?
Do I need to make a roll for the climbing?
No, you have the rope and you can climb up. You feel the exhaustion from the literal exhaustion you have, but you can climb yourself up. It maybe takes a bit longer, but you can do it yourself.
Okay,
I'll,
I'm doing it myself.
Throw back down the rope that Rebus had grabbed onto, so there's a way for Delphine to get all the way to the edge.
And event
Totally perplexed looking at the second rope because I already have one.
and eventually all of you are back up on the ledge, and if you look down, you only see fog and darkness beneath you. You don't even see from this angle anymore where the remains of the ooze are. You're just very sure that you tore it apart enough to be no longer a bother to you. But you're all safe now. No one's falling anymore. What would you like to do?
Rayn, where did the ooze come from?
Oh, apparently it was slipped over the door. I will go open the door now. Bloop, 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 bloop.
It's not like another ooze, is there?
Miss Rayn,
Hmm.
would you be careful with that door?
I load Shocking Grasp again.
That sounds like you're careful. And
But as I concentrate on this humming, zapping sound trickling down my hand to my fingers, I see if there's anything else I hear on the other side of the door.
all right, as you go up to the door, can you give me a perception check, please?
No good. 2.
howling wind, cold temperatures. Still maybe recovering from this encounter with the ooze a bit. Can't really pick up anything from the other side of the door.
Push, pull.
Try both. Push, pull. Doesn't budge. Doesn't open.
I think just pulls the axe.
Maybe our host didn't hear our knock. And I'm going to pull my hand back, open my palm, and just thunderclap into it.
Okay, Rayn, as you do that, Delphine, you're pulling out your axe just for in case you might have to bash open the door?
Yeah, of course.
Anything within 5 feet in front of me, within 5 feet, will take thunder damage on a failed Constitution save.
I don't think doors can make Constitution saves.
If there's a creature like stuck right on the other side of it, right?
Look, I know that I told you people are like oozes, but that would be a little bit too much. Can you roll me the thunder damage that it would do?
Interesting. Okay. 2.
So, Rayn, you make the most booming knock sound on the door with your thunderclap spell, and Delphine, you draw your axe as both of you are showing that you're ready and willing to apply violence to the door. But at that point, all of you hear again the voice in your head going, "No need to get that violent now. What, do you still have the blood pumping through your body from that fight with my little pet that I found here?"
Dayton, I guess I didn't hear the knock. Shall I try it again?
I heard the knock loud and clear, all of you here in your heads. I must admit, I did expect a little bit more of that encounter. That gooey creature had been the downfall of quite a few other people that tried to come here. Not of that other triton I did not test it against, I have to admit. Oh, well, he's still here as well. I assume since you're knocking on this door, you want to proceed?
Could you come finally to a point and let us in?
The point.
I think just hits the door.
Always you mortals with coming to a point. Why don't you enjoy the fact that sometimes meandering around a thought, just taking a bit of a detour to get to what you
I
call...
think hits the door again.
Setting
him
all
up.
right. And the voice vanishes from your heads again, as I am going to be a little bit...
Thank you, Delphine. I think that brought exactly that over what we wanted to give.
Choop, choop. And as you open the door, I'm actually gonna adjust this a little bit, and also that our viewers can actually see this. So as you open the door, you step into a room that is in various tones of dark or light blue. The room itself has a octagonal shape, and the walls are also here on the inside look like they are made of these bricks made out of ice, but still piled on top of each other like someone would make a brick wall, without any kind of visible concrete holding them together. The floor itself is made out of icy tiles in tones going from a pale icy blue to a darker blue. And in 4 sides of this room, snow white pillars hold aloft a ceiling that is about 60 feet tall here. And you can only see up in the ceiling that on top of it, in between a complete dark ceiling, you see these dancing motes of white light, vaguely forming stars. And I actually need could you all of you, I'm getting schizophrenic here. All of you give me a nature check.
-1. Fun.
That's a 1? How much was that for you, Rayn? A 1? Okay.
14.
14?
I rolled 2 14s.
And for you,
I
Delphine?
rolled an 18.
Wow.
Actually, Delphine, from your background as a sailor, I would actually like you to make that with advantage. So if you roll it with disadvantage now, can you roll it with disadvantage, all right?
Yeah. Then it's a straight roll.
And it would have been a straight roll, but that 14, you know what? The 14 is good enough for you to find something out. I forgot to give you that advantage beforehand, and before I have you re-rolling and get a worse result, let's not do that. So Delphine and Rayn, you look up at the ceiling 60 feet up in the air, the lights there, and you're like, oh, interesting. But Delphine, you actually, from your time spent out at sea, one of the things that every captain at sea learns how to do is how to navigate by stars. And you have quite an understanding of the night sky for the night sky of the world. And what you actually see is that the lights in the ceiling, they move like the constellations of Eberron do throughout the year. But where the constellations of Eberron need an entire year to move through these constellations, these here just go through it in a fast-forward, rapid way. They just go through an entire year of constellations moving over the night sky.
Interesting.
Are there any people in the room since this guy keeps talking about another Triton?
At this point, you don't see anyone else here. You also don't see any kind of other exits. What you do notice as well, carved into the ground, again, is the sets of arcane symbols.
Is it the same one from the ground floor?
Very similar style, similar older symbology in it. Anyone who would like to could try to make an Arcana check to further decipher this.
I do this with my proficiency.
Marcus, one thing.
Yes.
I just remember when Matrix came to us, she said that Darian was basically lost since a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1 or 2 weeks at least. When we came here, Darian said, and the rest of the people that were still alive said they were just here for like a few days.
Correct. There was also some time in between, in the time that you had downtime beforehand. Darian still had a few days of making preparations for this mission. Yeah. Maybe also doing some other errands before departing. It takes about a day to get by airship here, and maybe there was also some delay in the travel from weather conditions and the likes.
But most likely not that much.
No.
So, but there's definitely like a significant amount of time in between what will distinguish, like, okay, that what they said with they're here for some days and they are gone since a few weeks. It's like noticeable.
Yes, that is noticeable. Especially you would know, since with the airship that you came here on from Madrid, it only took you like a day to travel here. So
how likely is it that on this island there is like a different time movement? Because also, if there is like this display of the stars up there, and it's moving faster than it normally should, and if it's a portrait of the stars themselves, then
let's resolve a few things here.
Okay.
Rayn, you wanted to go and give another Arcana check on those symbols, right?
I rolled a 21.
Nice.
I
Delphine,
rolled
with that
Mhm.
train of
They're
thought,
symbols.
could you give me also an Arcana check, please?
Okay. This is a normal roll, I guess. So. Okay, nice. Please be nice.
What did Dyson get? You cut off from me.
Oh, I said I got a 2. They're symbols?
Rayn, as you look at these symbols again, you would notice this is from your training. You recall these bits of these older versions of languages that were used by a surface-dwelling empire known as the Dakani Empire. And that also reminds you that in one of your previous adventures with this group, when you were in the Shining Valley, there were also mentions of the remains of the Dakani Empire and the heritage this old goblinoid empire still leaves behind on Corvair. These symbols and carvings incorporate runes and letters from old Dakani script. They are very old.
This is old magic.
Delphine, what did you get on your Arcana check?
16. It could have been better. But it's a 16. It's okay.
No, 16? Don't underestimate the power of a good 16.
It's better than a 2.
Sure.
You have this idea working through your head as you're looking at this fast forward constellations above you. And you are aware that strange temporal distortions are a possibility when it comes to manifest zones of the planes. Risia as a plane of ice, of like basically stagnation, you would not directly attribute to having like time going faster. But you cannot exclude the possibility that time could work different in a place like this. And who knows? Risia, as the plane of ice, is also not known for entities that communicate through ice. So maybe there's also something else at hand here. It's, to you, Delphine, it's a plausible theory that you have cooking there.
Okay, okay. Will keep this for myself at the moment.
All right.
So it's just an empty room, ice and snow walls high, moving, glowing lights, an arcane sigil on the ground, and no flowers, no.
At this point so far, it's just you. And do all of you enter the room?
I guess so.
Dyson is like walked in.
Is this your hospitality?
And all of you hear in your heads, in a way, as behind you, the door closes.
Naturally.
Once you're all in, you hear this sound. Let me ask you a question. What is it exactly that brought you here? Is it to save these other mortals that made the mistake of trespassing? Is it curiosity? Or is it something else?
Is everyone hearing this?
Yeah, everyone is hearing this.
Okay. Money?
Money?
Maybe a little bit of the do-good spirit, but...
material possession, I have learned from my eons of being here, seems to be quite the motivational factor for mortals. And what do you have to do here to receive money?
We've already done some of it, right?
One question. Are you actually interested in this because you have a natural curiosity about these kind of things, or are you just bored?
I will admit, I have been perpetually bored since I ended up here. And these little stints, these visitations, are unfortunately the highlight of my existence.
Then you should be a lot more grateful to us. And on that note, how is it you ended up here? I mean, you managed to visit me apparently all those years ago. And like you keep reminding me and everyone else here, you bestowed a gift upon me. But I also wonder, was that your handiwork? You know, the knocking down all the soldiers like bowling pins? The panic and the temporal rips that threatened the land? Was that you?
That was indeed my doing.
Telepathically to the others. I'm killing this if it's the last thing I do. Even if I don't make it back with you. Oh, go on.
I'm not sure if I can tell you everything yet. Though, of all the candidates I have run through this gauntlet, you have made it quite far. So maybe you have what it takes.
Oh, there's a prize. Get to it. What is it?
Oh, there certainly is a prize. But talking about money, about an exchange of goods, there is a prize to everything. I had the misfortune to be born into this world in a most upheaving of times. A time that my siblings thought was most glorious for us. But there were some who opposed us. And as you all hear the voice say that, you see now on the western wall of this room, appearing in the bricks of ice, is another large eye that peers through the ice and seems to be now goes up in the wall and looms down and looks down into the sigils that are carved into the ground. And the voice continues, mortals found ways to contain us, to bind us, to keep us from our purpose. I did not like that. I ran. I skittered, I crawled, I flew, I ran. But then I miscalculated. Chaos is so unpredictable. And I was bound as well. And left here. For eons. Those who bound me, I assume they are dust by now. But their magic still holds.
While this guy is monologuing, I'm going to walk along the sides of the wall, the sides of the room, and just press around because the entity had mentioned a frozen prison. I'm just kind of tapping it. I'll even pull out my greatsword and just start tapping it with the hilt.
Is there anything anyone else would like to do? Because you basically hear this voice, you get a bit of exposition in your heads, but you can still move around if you want to.
I'm looking for another Triton in this room.
I will just remark on as he is or they are telling the story like so. Oh, what a tragic backstory! Here you have a tear because it's so sad.
Delphine, anything you would like to do in the meantime, or are you good? I think you're muted at this point.
Hello. I was stumbling on my words anyway, so it's fine. Below, like the floor, is it like just solid ice, or is it like what is the actual floor made of?
The floor is actual solid ice that looks like these tiles of ice set into the floor. It looks like if someone had put down tiles made out of ice, but if you inspect them closer, you can quickly and easily see that it's just ice in different colors.
Can I see anything below it?
It's very thick, and this is not a see-through floor.
In that case, I think Dython is gonna walk over and just not stand right where this is on the map, but tap this symbol with his foot, like this little smaller circle.
Right.
Kind of tap his foot on it and see if it does anything.
While Rayn is tapping the walls, Dython is tapping the floor, and Delphine is mocking the tragic backstory of the incorporeal voice. The voice says, "But in my time here, I think I found one of the central parts of what binds me. Now, none of your mortal magic is perfect anyway. Parts of it have weakened, and I had already had cracks through which I could slip once in a while. Just quickly slip out into the world and gift people with my blessing. But I know that unfortunately it takes a mortal to completely undo it. To rip that wicked flower from its socket and make this prison come crumbling down. But I need a mortal with a strong mind and a strong body. And the whims of fate," and the voice says that, and Rayn, you're tapping the wall, and suddenly you see reflected in the icy wall, your own reflection is replaced by a reflection of your brother.
The wall is solid?
Yeah.
Dython.
Yes?
Melt this. Melt this now. What's that word? Please.
I don't. Oh, okay. I guess I'll firebolt the wall. I don't think this is gonna work, but it's just.
You want to firebolt the wall?
Yeah.
you just turn around, you throw your firebolt, and the heat lashes against the ice. There's just a few drops of liquid now on the wall, but that's all the fire does. And you just, as you turn around, Delphine, you also briefly see this male triton standing as a reflection in the wall. Your firebolt hits it, and he's gone. And the voice says, I think I found a good candidate. But then you also appeared. I think I'm going to have one last round of fun to see who is really fit to remove that rotten, dirty flower and have the honor of sending me on my way. And as he says that, what all of you see now is suddenly in all corners of the room, within the icy walls, you see these reflections of a male triton. Rayn, what would you say, like, what does Nymbus look like?
He's definitely taller, broader shoulder, but I imagine many tritons to be kind of lithe as well. Kind of this kind of athletic swimmer's body. And he has almost the same facial features, the same eyes as Rayn, same gray eyes, very square, chiseled chin. However, his hair is, I would say, more dark green and very straight. So imagine kind of just like these straight strands of like almost like dark kelp, kind of combed over to the side in this very like a military crew cut kind of way. And I would assume that he hangs out very frequently in his full military regalia gear. And if he's on this island, he's probably in full gear as well. Why he's on this island, Rayn wouldn't know. But he's at least a head taller than Rayn.
Right. And you see that presence indeed in full military armor. These gold-scaled armor covering almost the entire body, appearing now as reflections in the wall. But there's suddenly a shift in that reflection. You see it distort. The edges blur. And then, as all these images, these mirrors, vanish from the walls, appearing in the center of the room, coming out of this magic symbol in the middle, you do see an actual physical form.
Telepathic link.
This triton that you saw in the icy walls stands there now, completely straight back. And additionally to this gold scale armor, you see that around his hands, he's wearing these majestic golden gauntlets that have some crystals set into them. His hands holding on to a two-handed gold sword. And around his neck is a dark steel chain on which hangs a dark blue, jagged crystal in which an eye twitches around. Nymbus opens his eyes, looks around, stern expression, not a hint of emotion. Just looks around. You wanted to telepathically connect, right?
I'm just like barraging. It's like...
You sense that there is a mind in there, no matter what you might think about your brother. Mm-hmm. But someone is not letting you in. And all of you hear in your head, let's see if my current favorite candidate can prove that he is sound of body. And with a blank expression, Nymbus raises his sword. And I would like all of you to roll initiative, please.
Fuck.
I have plans.
I have none.
Oh, that's cocked.
Mine
Better.
did that twice in a row.
Quickly. Oh, I might also want to quickly pull up Rebus.
Yes.
Rebus!
19 for Rayn. I'm just gonna turn on the light.
Wait. So, Rayn was a 19, you said? Delphine, what did you get?
8.
Delphine gets an 8. Dythun, what did you roll?
20.
Ooh.
Not natural.
Well, but that's good. That's good. Let's see. Rebus, who has quite an impressive bonus to initiative, also rolls a 19. Rayn, what's your dex?
0. My dex total is
Yeah.
10.
Okay, so then Rebus goes before
Total.
you. And let me also roll for Nymbus. Oh, Nymbus.
He's extremely dangerous. Don't go gentle.
All right. Looks like we got a fight on our hands. And as you'll get ready for combat, start of round 1, and the first in initiative is Dythun. What would you like to do?
Typhoon turns over his shoulder. And just says, "I'm sorry if this goes bad." God. And then just turns back to Nymbus and just charges at Nymbus.
All right. Charging at Nymbus.
I'm using longsword and shield, by the way.
Gotcha.
For the most part, if this isn't ever like cleared, unless I specify great axe, Dythun's default is sword shield.
Gotcha.
But I only say that because it makes the AC different. But yeah, he's gonna just make an attack with the longsword. Or not.
Well, what did you roll?
That's 1.
As you come in and charge in there, you just see as you bring your weapon down, you just see in this perfect fluid motion, Nymbus brings up his greatsword, looks you into the eyes as his sword parries your sword, and he's just gazing at you.
You know what? Now's a good time to use this bonus action, Daunting Roar.
Daunting Roar?
He's just gonna scream back at him.
He has to make a
So
wisdom saving throw, right?
save, 13.
Well, you rolled a 1 on your attack. Nymbus rolls a 1 on his save. So you roar at him, and he is considered frightened?
Frightened of me,
Mm-hmm.
specifically.
Gotcha. And can he save against that at the end of his turn?
Until the end of my next turn.
Oh, he's frightened until the end of your next turn, so a full round. Perfect. So as you just roar in his face, you can see there is just a very brief moment that he raises one of his eyebrows. There's a slight quiver to him. Anything else on your turn, Dythun?
That's all I can do right now.
All right. It's then Reba's turn, who also quickly looks over at Rayn and says, Miss Rayn, I am also sorry for what I'm about to do. And they move up to get into melee range, and for now, first going to start off by bringing down their glaive at Nymbus. And that is a natural 20. That goes hard, so that is 2d10 on that damage. That's 6 plus 4. That's 10 points of damage as that glaive comes in there. And Nymbus, who still like has his eyes locked on Dythun, just completely didn't notice that Rebus did that quick step in, brings down the glaive, and you can hear it screeching against the golden armor, some sparks flying off. A first blow struck very successfully. And that ends Rebus' turns for now and brings us to Rayn. Rayn, there's your brother, who's currently being attacked by your companions. What do you do?
Walk on over. And just say out loud, can you believe this? They're apologizing to me for something that you have gotten yourself into. Step out of it. Shopping grasp. He's wearing metal, right?
Yes.
I have advantage on this then. As soon as I say this, my hand charges up, and I just want to like grab the nape of his armor. A 4 and a 16 plus 5.
Yeah, that hits.
That's a 1d8. The other one was a 4. Thank God for the advantage. Shocking grasp is a 1d8. 2 lightning damage.
2 lightning damage on that shocking grasp.
And it can't take reactions until the start of its next turn.
Such a good spell. All right. So yeah, you see the electricity just skitter over the armor as muscles tighten, and you just shocking grasped Nymbus.
I'm going to pull out my greatsword, a bonus action, and just like waving it in his face. Remember this? This is what everything. This meant everything to you. For God's sake, get a grip. That's my turn. I'm just waving this greatsword in his face.
All right. Which brings us to Delphine.
Cool. So, Rivers took a hit. Delphine scared that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Rayn is electrocuting him.
Okay, cool. I will just stand there and watch so far because I'm basically tapped out of most of the stuff that I can do.
Do you hold anything?
No.
You could still fire at him. You don't want to do that?
No.
No?
No.
Any kind of
It's
action
okay.
you want to hold? Just want to keep an eye on things?
For now, I want to keep an eye on things. Yes.
All right. Okay.
Sorry for being that passive, but
So far, the party has it under control, but with your turn ending, Nymbus' turn comes up. Nymbus is currently frightened, and if I'm not mistaken, being frightened means that he has disadvantage on attacks while the target of its fear is within his sight.
Everywhere in the room.
So
That should be. I want to give Nymbus a fair chance, so I'm just going to quickly look that up. Has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within line of sight. Well, the source of its fear is right in his face, and Nymbus will try to get rid of that. And he's going to make an attack with his golden longsword that he brings down on Dythun. At disadvantage, that does not hit. But he does. Yeah?
reaction riposte.
Riposte. What does riposte do?
When a creature misses you with a melee attack, I can use my reaction and expend a superiority dice to make a melee attack against it. And if I hit, I can add that superiority dice to the damage roll.
And see if you hit. Like he overestimates his step. There's an opening that Dythun capitalizes on.
It's not great, but it's better. Where's my attack bonus? That's a 14.
Unfortunately, that's not enough to hit, as you also kind of overestimate where Nimbus ends up in his movement, but you sure showed some technical techniques there. And however, Nimbus can do a second attack, and he is bringing down his second attack on Dythun as well. Also does not hit, because disadvantage on attack rolls is a bad thing to have. And Nimbus then ends his turn there. Still blank expression, seems to be unaffected by what Rayn was showing him. And we go back to top of round 2, which brings us back to Dythun.
Surprised, I'm gonna attack him. The sword. So that's kind of all I can do right now. But actually, you know what? He's like two-handing a longsword, right?
Yeah.
I think Dythun has been like carrying that other like triton shield he had found at some point. He's gonna like throw that to the ground, and he's gonna two-hand his longsword as well.
So it's Triton longsword against Triton longsword.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You're
That's
muted.
much better.
What did you roll?
That's a 19.
Oh, that hits.
And I get to do a D10.
Who doesn't enjoy a good D10
That's
from a longsword?
10.
That is a 10. Is anything added to that damage?
2. Plus 2, and while I'm here and I have actually hit, I'm gonna go ahead and distracting strike. So I can add another D6. That's a 1, but that's fine. So total 13 damage.
That's fine. Yeah.
If anyone attacks him before the start of my next turn, they have advantage.
Oh.
But he will no longer have disadvantage at the end of my turn.
Right. All right. Yeah, so you basically... what does it look like, Dythun? What does a distracting strike look like from Dythun? How do you actually distract your opponent?
I think a lot of Dythun's distraction comes from just making himself as big as possible.
Yeah.
And, like, anytime, like, the eyes start anywhere else, he, like, feints an attack or growls or, like, makes some kind of movement to, like, no, focus on me. Like, this is me and you.
Gotcha. Really making sure, like, this is mano a mano, focus on us two.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else on your turn? That's it?
That's it for this one.
All right. Which leads us to Rebus, who will gladly take that advantage on the attack to bring down another glaive attack with advantage. Let's see if we can go for another crit from our favorite robot barbarian. Close to a crit, but still good enough to hit. It was an 18 on the die, so that certainly hits. And that is another 8 points of damage to Nymbus, who takes these blows. And though you see his body respond to the blows, the expression just stays blank, unimpressed, as if the body kind of registers the blows, but the mind is not processing them. That ends Rebus's turn and brings us to Rayn. What do you do?
Is the advantage still there?
The next attack was with advantage.
It's only the next. Hold on.
And Rebus just used that on the glaive attack.
Yes, it's the next, not all.
No, exactly.
Only because it's cool. since Rayn was kind of just shaking the greatsword in his hand, she's going to like put her other hand in the pommel and just shift short distance apart and try to swing with her two-handed greatsword.
Oh wow, bringing in all the Triton weapons.
Okay. I don't add my proficiency to this because she's what she is.
She is what she is, but I respect the move.
17 plus 1.
That's an 8. That is just enough to hit. So this is dramatically appropriate. I love it. It just hits. So roll for damage.
8 damage.
Ooh. You bring down that Triton sword, and you get the idea as if Nymbus would have not expected you to hit. Like, he almost neglected the moment he saw you, like, from the corner of his eye draw that weapon. He was not paying attention, but then the attack connects, and his head just turns towards you, still this blank expression.
And as part of my bonus action, it's like, hello? Wake up now. This is most inconvenient and most frustrating. Wake up. Wake up now. I have nothing I can do. That's my turn. I stay
That's
where I
your
am.
turn. You stay where
Glaring
you are.
at him.
Glaring is a free action. Delphine, what would you like to do?
Okay, so everyone is hitting him and he is taking the damage. So we know he had has this metal ring around his neck.
Yes,
With
there's this
this-
necklace. There's this necklace
Yeah.
with this dark, icy shard on it.
Okay. And there was the eye that we saw before on it.
Yeah, there's also you saw like in the
Mhm.
shard there was this eye just hovering around in it.
Okay. So since he is distracted by the fight with the others, I try I will go closer and try to pull off the necklace.
All right, you can go closer and you can spend your action then to
Yeah.
give me a sleight of hand check to see if you can pull it
Oh,
off.
I'm good at this.
Don't forget,
Oh, fuck,
you
careful.
have disadvantage on the roll.
Yeah, I does not cat.
You never know, the dice decide. I am very curious because this plan sounds cool. Let's see what the dice say.
Oh, the dice are actually not that. Fuck. I hate these dice. It's a not natural 20. The other dice was a net 20. Oh yeah, it's
What's the
dirty
total
20.
still?
20. I have
dirty
plus 4
20
of sleight of
still.
hand.
So you would move like right up behind Nymbus.
Yes.
And as you move up behind him, you look for like some kind of opening in the chain, and you find a clasp on the back, which you pull on. The chain comes off, but at that moment, I also need you to make an intelligence saving throw, please.
Straight roll.
Straight roll for the intelligence saving throw, so
We know how good I'm with saving throws. Oh, I love this dice today. It's a 20.
that's a 20 total?
20 total, I rolled a 19.
As you pull it off, for a brief moment where Nymbus stood, you see your own parents standing for a brief moment, but you realize that this is probably some weird mental trick that this stupid voice is trying to do on you. You shake it off, and you have this amulet in your hands now. But you also notice, as you hold it, that the chain is starting to wrap around your hand,
Oh fuck.
as if it's trying to grab onto you. That was your action. You, if I'm not mistaken, you moved like to here, further down to...
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I moved directly to him.
Yeah. So you now have this chain with the shard starting to wrap around you. That was your action to take it off of Nymbus.
Mm.
Is there anything else you would like to do in your turn?
Dropping
Can
is a
I
free
just
action.
smash it into like a corner as a free action because I let go of it?
At this point, the chains have wrapped around your hand. You can't drop it as a free action. It's
Okay,
like,
cool.
it's kind of trying to grab onto you. You could only like move somewhere else or something, but
Yes. There's not much to move in this damn room.
We still don't know
It's
if
a-
Nymbus remains hostile or not.
Okay, I move towards the door. Wait. 5. 10, 15. Yeah, I'm basically very close to Rebus at that point.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
You move over there. You are not taking an opportunity attack from anyone.
Cool.
And that's your turn.
That's my turn.
You see, with Nimbus' turn coming up, though Delphine, Rebus, and Rayn, you're close to me, you can see his face. You suddenly see this blank expression just turns into his, huh? What? Huh?
Finally, he hears in his head.
Rayn? Huh? And he looks around, feels around his neck, looks towards Delphine, and he sees on her hand that this chain is wrapping around her, and he's like, oh no. No. And he moves over to Delphine, and he's going to take an attack at Delphine.
Okay.
Attack of opportunity?
You want to take your attack of opportunity?
He
Yeah,
moves
sure.
out of me and he's doing something crazy,
Yeah,
so I'm
sure.
just gonna
Take,
swing.
Oh,
swing with that sword.
Yeah. As soon as he
Um,
leaves, it's like, yeah, but
Typhoon, is there anything you would like to?
No, he's still in my melee range.
no, it's gonna be a 9 total.
Unfortunately, he moves over to Delphine, and a 22 does hit you, I think.
Just barely.
That is
I'm full health, so I'm good.
that is 9 points of slashing damage,
Okay, cool.
and he's also going to take a second attack against you.
Oh fuck. Okay.
And does a 16 hit you?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Thank God not.
Yeah, the second one you can like bop out of the way, but you just see Nimbus like attacks at you, and he looks confused, but also very determined to attack you. But you're not really sure what is actually going on at this point, and you get the impression that Nimbus also doesn't really know what's going on right now. And he just stands there and is like, no, it can't take hold of anyone else. We need to. I am so sorry. Like he's apologizing towards Delphine and ends his turn apologizing, which brings us. We're still in combat. Round 3. Dythun, you're up.
Wonderful.
Well,
This is still the same day from the Remoris fight, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
It's very much the
Okay.
same day.
You've had a very exciting day so far.
Alright, so I can't do that. In which case, I think Dyphane's just gonna take out the javelin and throw it at the necklace.
The
At my
necklace
hand,
that is
basically.
attached. That is
Mhm.
attached at Delphine.
Is any part of it still down?
Well, the chain is wrapped around her hand, but
Yeah.
the weird crystal with the eye in it is dangling from the hand.
I want to hit that.
Okay, you can try that, but the attack roll will be a disadvantage, but you got
Cat
some
advantage.
cat vantage, so that would be a straight roll.
Wonderful. Let's see how this goes. That's cocked. That's good. 22.
Roll damage for the javelin.
Yay. Oh, that's 8. That's max damage.
You take the javelin, throw it, and Delphine, you just suddenly see a javelin also flying at you, but it just passes by you, and you see it smack into the crystal that's dangling from your hand. The javelin, where it impacts, starts breaking. The tip breaks, the wood breaks, and there is just this slight crack in the crystal, but the javelin just falls apart from its own force of impact.
My javelin of lightning?
It was the javelin of lightning, not a regular javelin?
I don't have another javelin.
The thunder javelin.
Let me rewind that then. The javelin impacts there, and as it's made of magic items, and I'm not just gonna have a magic item be destroyed like that,
I mean, hey, if you wanted to.
It flies into the crystal, and you can hear a crack of thunder coming from the point where the point of the javelin impacts into the crystal, the thunder echoing in this small room, just almost deafening to all of you. And then the javelin drops to the ground, but you see in this shard there's a crack, and the eye inside of it is just maniacally moving around inside of it. But the chain is still attached to Delphine. Is there anything else you would like to do, Typhoon?
Typhoon has an idea for next turn, so to prepare for that, he's just gonna move over there towards the door.
Okay. No opportunity attack from there. That ends your turn. That brings us up to Rebus, who's basically seen the necklace being pulled off, Nymbus walking over to Delphine and still smacking at her, and Rebus is now just quickly looking over at Rayn to see, like, what. But then Rebus decides that they are going to try to just subdue the enemy, and Rebus is going to try to grapple Nymbus. And that is going to be a contested athletics check. For which, I am so sorry, Rebus. Rebus rolled a total of 10, but could still be worse from Nymbus, who has a total of 9. So, Rebus, like, wraps their warforged arms in a bear hug around Nymbus and just says, "Please, sir, I think we should first talk about this situation," but really tightens that bear hug to keep Nymbus in place. And that ends Rebus' turn, bringing us up to Rayn.
Walking. As I see Nymbus kind of like held up by Rebus, I'm just going to, like, not attack, we're just going to, like, knock on his front plate, and it's like, let us use our words this time, brother. And I'm looking at Delphine and the situation here, and the crystal, the eye is still dangling, but it is in a somewhat more damaged state.
Right, exactly.
Then, I don't have anything. I'm going to I want to try to use my greatsword as a tool to start breaking the chain that connects it with the pendant.
All right.
Is that an attack roll? Is that a tools?
You would... It would use your action on this turn.
Yes.
And to get that off, I'd say that's either an athletics by using your strength to kind of, like, you have your sword as a kind of a lever to, like, apply your strength, or I'd say it would be a sleight of hand if you try to, like, do it more with more finesse to it to try to pry it loose. Or if there's any tool proficiencies that you would apply in this situation.
I could try to beat it in a game of Dragon Chess, otherwise I will go for athletics.
chains have a very good reputation of being good at dragon chess, so
Something
but-
has to in this world.
Exactly.
No shade to the last campaign. Oh dear, that is a 12.
A 12. Like
Athletics.
you wedge in the sword, trying to pry it loose, and you put your weight and your muscle in there, amplified by the lever of the sword, but all you can hear is just this grinding of metal against metal as you're like trying to pry it loose, but it's unfortunately not enough.
You know, there's still my hand connected to this.
Which, by the way, like, there's already been a javelin thrown at Delphine's hand. Now there's like a sword pried between there, trying to get that off. It's
That thing just. We might have to cut it off.
Darling, how connected are you to this hand? Oh gosh,
Oh, no.
I will use my action. As object interaction, I am going to pull off my tiara. And that's
pull
my
off your
turn.
tiara.
Yes.
You take off your
And I'm
tiara.
holding it in my other hand. That's my turn.
That's your turn.
Has ideas.
That does bring us to Delphine. Delphine, would you please start out your turn with another intelligence saving throw?
Of course. Because I love this so much. Oh, yeah, 10.
You notice that this chain that is around your hand that Rayn tried to pry the crystal from, that a javelin was flung at, is now like wrapping in even tighter around your hand. And you notice that your other hand is moving to where your pistol is. And your arm moves, pulls out your pistol, and I need you to make a pistol attack against Nymbus.
Okay.
Oh, she has the feat this for no disadvantage at close range.
Exactly.
This is a pistol. This is a 19.
That hits. Please roll damage against Nymbus.
Alright, Nimbus.
That are 6 points of damage.
As you just close quarters, your arm pulls out the pistol, pulls it almost against the chest of Nymbus. You fire it off, but you notice, all of you who see this, the movement has none of the finesse that Delphine has demonstrated with this weapon. It's just very ragged, almost puppetry-like, pulled and then fired. You hear the echoing sound of the bullet being fired. Nymbus, like, oh, while still being held by Rebus, just poof, it's being pushed back by the bullet impacting. There's a dent in the armor, and Triton blood is also coming out of the dent of the armor.
Delphine?
As Delphine, that was your action. You are still free to spend your own movement or bonus action.
Oh shit. But I noticed myself that this happened.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a very good idea what is causing this.
Oh god, this would be an action. I don't think that this helps.
There's like prosthetic hands and arms in this universe, right?
Yeah.
You can pay enough to get that like regrown or something from a very skilled cleric.
I love how you haven't tried any other solution, or not many other solutions, but you're already considering just, cutting off Delphine's arm.
You can finally have a hook arm.
You know, if you have such friends, you don't need any enemies. Because, they do everything to save your body and everything.
She'll finally have the full pirate look.
Just get a parrot as well, and it's.
No, she needs a peg leg too, I guess.
Hey, while we're at it,
Good. Everything that I could do would be an action, but not a bonus action.
You could still move away if you wanted to, like at least get out of. Nimbus is held by Rebus, so it's not like he's gonna easily follow you at this point.
Cool. I have limited movement speed. Nice.
That's true. You have less movement speed.
What is going on? What is going on?
Yeah. And also, I wanna get rid of this necklace thingy.
Yeah, don't get rid of your neck, please.
I can help them.
Okay, I will move away.
All right.
This is shit. 10. Yeah, I'm basically moving over behind. No, fuck no. This is no good. We can cross tires.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15 over to that corner. I'm just
You
doing
get-
corner jumping right now.
Just moving over there while you're still regaining, like feeling your own arm that just pulled out the weapon. You move over there, and that's your turn.
Yes, that's my turn.
That brings us to
Oh, and I
Nimbus.
wanna drop the as a free interaction. I wanna drop the pistol.
Got very
If
good
I
idea.
can do it.
Yes, very good idea. Like as you just drop the pistol and it's on the ground. Yeah, good
Yes.
point. Great choice. Yeah, you move over there. That's your turn, and that brings us up to Nimbus, who is held by Rebus, and you see Nimbus is like still struggling against that hold, and he's going like, wow, those are some very strong arms. And he looks at his own hands, like he's looking at his own gauntlets. He goes like, "What? These are some very great gloves." And he just says like, "All right, let's talk for now. But we really first need to make sure that necklace is gone." And he tries to escape the grapple from Rebus, which he utterly fails at. And that's his turn. And that brings us to you, Dythun. You heard what Nimbus was saying. You saw what Delphine did. What would you like to do?
I have an idea.
Is that in character or out of character?
Both?
Yes.
But that's all I say. That's all I'll say on my turn. So for you to take that into consideration or not, your turn.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna currently stick with the original plan and try and hit the door, dropping the long sword, pulling up the great axe.
All right. Give me an attack roll against the door.
Oh, stop! Oh my gosh! Stop falling off the table.
You mean the cat?
18.
18.
Yes.
Roll damage against the door.
Smashing.
Goodness.
No, we need the cat. Don't exile the cat yet.
The cat is great. The cat just keeps attacking the microphone. 10 total.
Until gong, the great axe hits the door. You see that there's a bit of a crack appearing in the ice, but it's still shut. Anything else you would like to do on your turn, Dythun?
Do I get the feeling this is like a futile attempt to break this thing?
You get the
'Cause I
feeling that
hit
you
it a
would
couple
need.
times before we entered as well.
it would need a couple more hits and good hits to hammer or axe your way through this.
Okay. Plan B, 5, 10, 15, 20 movement. Yeah, it's my turn.
Okay, so plan B is moving over there to Delphine. That's your turn. Rebus is going to just keep Nymbus secured and grappled at this point, just really keeping him wrapped up. And they heard what Nymbus said about like the strong grip, and Rebus just replies, "Well, thank you," as they reapply the grip, and that is their turn, which brings us to Rayn.
Walks past her, but is like, "Well, talking." Starts talking. As I go over to Delphine, she's nice and cornered now, and I can see clearly the thing is wrapped around her.
Yeah.
Are you feeling it rather hard to take this off, dear? I say as I start moving behind my tiara and pull something out. And I will take out my one shard from the Shining Valley, from the Hidden Valley.
Right. What are you gonna do with that?
Can I, maybe this is my action then, can I deduce whether using this could either help Delphine make a better attempt at removing the thing from her, or that it itself can be weakened?
As part of your action, I would allow you an Arcana check to see what you can figure out in the heat of this madness.
Yeah, because that will determine basically where I give the crystal to her, or just bap it onto the tool, onto the item. Nice, thank you. This is 17 plus 2 is a 19 total.
19 total. Right.
I had advantage, just in case I go even higher.
All right, exactly. You do have advantage. Thank you, Witgo, for the advantage.
Wasn't higher.
All right.
But I'll take it.
You do know the shard from the Shining Valley. That was linked to a plane that is all about calm and peace and tranquility. You wonder, what would happen if you introduce it to something that is trying to force itself upon an unwilling creature?
Boop.
You put that on the shard, you have the shard's touch.
Boop. I say aloud. Boop.
And as you say boop, I need both Rayn and Delphine to give me an intelligence saving throw.
Maybe the DC went down. I don't know.
Ooh, 16.
15.
15, 16. The boop is quickly followed by this mental shriek in both of your heads, as if someone is drawing claws over a chalkboard, and your vision just goes blurry for a moment, and then you hear this as the shard starts crumbling, the eye in it, the iris wide in panic, and the little shard you took from the Shining Valley lets out a tranquil note, a hum of peace in this chaos as it falls to dust. And the dark shard shatters into smaller pieces. The chain loosens from the hand, clattering to the ground, following the remains of this dark shard. And in the largest piece of the shard, you still see that eye moving about in panic.
So it's on the ground now.
Yes.
I will free action to chuckle at it.
And it is at this point that we drop out of initiative. And we're also going to take on our break for now. And see after our break how this continues and what the heck was up with Nymbus and what the heck is up with everything. So if you're wondering how that will go, stay tuned for after a short break. We're going to be gone for about 10 minutes. And for everyone who's in chat so far, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for the cat vantage. It has been a great help to everyone here. And we'll continue in 10 minutes. So stay tuned. See you soon.
Boop.
And we are back from our short little break for our second half of today's session of the Convergence Manifesto here on Horde of Tales. But before we continue our adventures, first of all, we want to thank everyone who comes to hang out here, lurk around, chat around, giving us cat vantage. It's a lot of fun it's already fun to play tabletop RPGs, and it's even more fun to play with people who also engage with us. If you like what you see here and you're like, hey, I want to follow these people, these are interesting, fun people, or hey, I'm also a big expert on D&D and they're getting all the rules wrong and I need to tell them that they're wrong, well, please don't do that. But you can follow us on our socials at Twitter, for example. You can find us at Twitter, and you can join our Discord, for which we have links down below in the description down below. Also, you can find our VODs, of course, here on Twitch, but we also upload our VODs of not just Convergence Manifesto, but all the other games we play here on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Horde of Tales. God, I missed that dab. And so, for example, you can find the VOD of our very cool one-shot of Emerald Templars that we did last Sunday, which is already up on our channel if you want to check it out. And also all the other VODs and, in my opinion, pretty funny shorts we put there as well for the highlights of our games. So check them out on our YouTube, and while you're there, subscribe, follow, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. Yes, please leave comments if you think. Just leave us comments, especially nice comments. But if you feel to comment, just comment. It's a free world now, isn't it?
And if you want to rules lawyer, that position's already taken. Mango Ray, who is currently at a work meeting, is our usual rules lawyer. So we're good. Thank you. He's heavy enough sometimes, believe me.
He can. He has a very good and firm grip on the rules, and I respect that. All right.
Grip. Thank you.
Okay, with that being said, talking about firm grips, there is an NPC currently in a firm grip in our current situation, because before the break, we ended as a strange mind-controlling shard that was grasping onto Delphine was shattered by a strange tranquil shard from one of the previous adventures, and we still find ourselves in this octagonal room with Nymbus, a triton and brother to Rayn, still grappled by Rebus, Delphine freed of that chain and crystal, and an eerie silence falling over the room, except for Nymbus saying, yeah, that does the job. That does the job. Could you please let me go? And Rebus looks to the group.
But why?
Look, I think I have some explaining to do.
Go ahead.
I can do that better while not being held by... What do the surface dwellers call this again?
Well, we call this a Rebus, our very loyal companion. The surface dwellers call them a warforged. And you are, as Mother constantly reminds me, very talented at many things. So go ahead and explain while being held by our Rebus.
Nymbus gives you that look that only a sibling can give another sibling. Like this amount of annoyance in a look, but still understanding his current predicament. And while still being held by Rebus, Nymbus says, I did not want to fight all of you. I want to make that very clear. Me and my companions ended up here during a recon mission we were on. There were strange things happening around the island. And during our reconnaissance, we encountered these surface dwellers who had come here. They must have, they made an enormous ruckus, crashed out of the air. And we met them out here in the wastelands. But then some of the other soldiers, they started fighting each other. They started to go against each other. It was mayhem, and we made it to the tower. I went up to that door. I'm not sure, like, you also came in here through the tower, didn't you? Is there another way in? Is there another way that we can get, that you came in? It was here through the tower. Okay, then you must have been past that door. I heard this voice in my mind, and it was telling me things. It was putting me through these challenges. At one point it said that it was pleased, and that I would do.
Do you know exactly what it wanted you, or frankly any of us, to do?
It said I was of sound body and of sound mind, that I could uproot the flower.
Stop bragging. Flower?
Still don't know what it exactly talked about. It brought me up to some strange chamber where it gave me, and he looks at his hands, and looks at these gauntlets he has on. It gave me these, and it put that shard on me, and it said it would put me through one more trial. Delphine.
Can Delphine walk over to
Nymbus.
Sorry, Nymbus at this point? Yes. And
Yeah.
just like
We're all interrogating him.
as he's talking about his hands, can I just like
Pull off the
gloves?
give me an athletics check.
Athletics?
Mm-hmm.
18.
18. While he's still distracted talking and he's holding up his hands, you just walk over and you like flip, pull them off, and they are these solid. They're in a similar golden tone to his armor, but they are of different craftsmanship. There's a different style to them, and they also have these inlaid red crystals in them. Quite a massive, bulky set of gauntlets to wear.
Titan, I reach my finger over to the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I cast Identify. It's part of my feat.
It's part of your feat to
So I
cast
need a spell
identity.
slot.
His
to do
next
this.
action was to be like, "Hey, Rayn."
It's almost like she reads your mind, but you can never be sure with Rayn if she actually does.
Or he's just trained well.
You cast Identify on them,
Mm-hmm.
and Identify basically immediately tells you what they are. You cast Identify on them, and you do know that these are gauntlets of ogre power. That when one wears them and attunes to them, their strength score is set to 19.
Are these anything?
Brother, you used a shortcut?
I did not put these on me. I would never resort to some magical trickery when my physical prowess is more than enough.
Dyson, hang on
Bravo.
to those.
Well,
Puts
you're definitely siblings. You use the same kind of words.
Well, I think we should best be leaving here, dear brother, because I don't know if in its long exposition, our host, this creature, as much as admitted as being responsible for the attack on our people that day.
Who said anything about leaving? You hear echoing through the room. And Nimbus just for a moment like, do you hear that?
Hear what?
Smash the door!
Smile.
Smash the door!
Dython, you just say hear what, right?
And then but then immediately smile at him.
Oh, but Nimbus immediately looks at you and he's about to ask you that voice. He immediately believes you in your response until he sees the smile, and then he just frowns at you. It's Rayn, you go over to the door.
I look at Dython breaking his knuckles essentially.
Oh, why not? It's just great exec. By the way, go and pick up all the things I've dropped during the encounter. And then
Yeah,
go
same.
to the
I want to
door
have my
and-
pistol back.
While you do that and also make your way to the door, you hear the voice say, I was impressed by this display, though I have to say a little bit peeved by you destroying that shard? Really? Bringing in another plane here? I already have 2 planes going crazy here. I don't need a third one.
Wait, 2?
Oh, look who's curious now. Are you still so eager to leave then? Or do you want me to, I don't know, as you put it so lightly, give you more of my tragic backstory?
The handle on the door doesn't. Is there a handle and does it move?
There's no handle, and it does
And-
not move.
Pushing.
Well, as you like to display all your tragedy into your words, since this is the only thing that you have, please continue.
The ice and cold of Rizia is my prison. But my roots lie within Zoriat.
Does Ray know that plane? As an arcane student.
Rayn, considering her background, would definitely know it. If anyone else who is not Rayn wants to check if they know it, I would like to have an Arcana check, please.
Oh, I know.
I have no clue.
What did you roll, Dython?
18.
18.
You said Zoriat?
Yeah.
I think the player is rocking her brain. Go ahead.
So,
Oh,
Rayn and Dython, you would have certainly heard of it as your basic understanding of the different planes and the different moons. And Zoriat, as a moon and as a plane, is associated with the plane of madness, of insanity, of shapelessness, and there are mostly horror stories about the plane of Zoriat. That any area that is unfortunate enough to experience a manifest zone of it is a place where your own mind turns against you, where eldritch beings take shape, and where logic has no place anymore. Rayn, you certainly know of Zoriat. Many of the Tritons have stories of deep places, very deep in the oceans, that reach into the heart of Eberron, deep into the dark liquid tunnels of Kyber, where it is said that ancient monstrosities from Zoriat that once came into this world are still bound in the depth of the world and in the depth of the oceans. I mentioned that all it needs for me to leave this place was one capable of uprooting the flower. I would say all of you are. And so, before you leave and flee into the wastes that you shall certainly freeze in, I have a proposition to make. I shall let all of you leave my tower unscathed, unheard. But before you do that, I shall bring you to its highest peak where the flower rests, binding my prison. You shall uproot it, pull it, and end my imprisonment.
For you to do what exactly?
To be reunited with the rest of me.
With your siblings, you said, and they are in Zoriat.
They might be there. They might have been trapped like me, but I'm here, but I'm also not here. I do not adhere to one form, mortal. I want to return to the rest of me. I shall grant you the flower. You can do with it what you want. It binds the frozen powers of Risia, a powerful concentrated planar energy, strong enough to even hold a convergence with another plane. You can do with it what you want.
Dython's gonna step to the middle of the room and just kind of look up. I'll go. Kind of turns and looks to Rayn.
Well, this entity is responsible for... Oh my goodness, I'm so glad my parents and my people aren't here. Nymbus, not a word of this, but as this being is responsible for an attack on my people, I am rather inclined to just leave it here suffering. Flower or not, recompense or not.
You have no right, and Nimbus speaks up, you have no right to unleash this being. It has been put here for a reason, and you don't know what kind of horrors it might unleash. Whatever it may promise you. You do know, out of character, that you do know that the Deathgate Guild did come here to look for something here.
Yep.
So
it was a flower.
Exactly.
To be fair, you, and I point to Nimbus, you might have no clue what kind of chaos this world has already been through.
Oh, and you're going to tell me, Surface Dweller, do you know anything about the struggles that rage underneath the sea?
Pointing to Rayn, she tells a lot about it.
Well, she would care so much for Under the Sea, she would not have left us behind.
He's still being held by Rebus. Liver punch.
Liver punch?
I rolled a 10 plus 2. No. Ow!
And he just scowls at you as you attempt that liver punch on him. Well, the voice. Yeah, sorry, Dython, go ahead.
Sorry, Dython's gonna make like direct eye contact with Rayn. And just kind of like stare at Rayn for a second.
Oh, staring contest, go.
Well, everyone has their own reasons to leave their home or the place that they love most.
Connections made, by the way.
However, I guess it might be the best if we are following our initial plan, isn't it?
Rayn hears through the connection. Have Delphine give me one of those tokens.
Just in case.
Why can't you ask her yourself?
Just kind of like looks up in response.
For the record, my disagreement does not equate my, my prohibition of things. But, should there ever be some sort of calamity, I help you with your family, you help me with mine.
You say that to the voice?
To Dython telepathically.
To Dython telepathically, okay.
Fair enough.
I hope your sister's much better company than my brother. I walk over this way, and as I do, I just absolutely like put Nymbus's hair, like completely mess it into his face, like.
What are you? What is this?
Walk over to Delphine. Delphine, darling, I recall you had some extra sundries. May I have a few of those tokens? I'm a bit spent.
Marcus, remind me, how much did I spend on the tokens per piece?
They were cheap.
They were not that expensive. They're pretty cheap.
They were like 25 each?
Something like that.
Session 18.
Yeah, I think it was like 25 gold pieces.
About that, yeah.
I give you one, I'm getting 25 gold pieces.
Can I open a tab?
Sure, repayment as soon as we are back and got our payment. I give out one of the tokens.
No discount?
No.
I receive it, and over my shoulder, I just flip it over to Dython.
You can catch it, Dython.
Dython hears in his head, I charge interest. I will profit of this.
So now I owe you 30
Like,
gold.
Yeah, and I pay Delphine back 25. I'm the only winner here,
That's
clearly.
Rebus says, I have to be honest. I obviously do not entirely trust the motivations of this entity, but I am, considering my earlier encounter with it, extremely curious about this object that seems to seal it away.
To be fair, I don't trust it either. It might be totally evil and killing us at some point, but at the moment, who cares? Also, we kinda need to bring something back to Lara, even though I don't want to have her that item because it seems dangerous, yada yada, blah blah blah. To put it forward, let's take it and get out here.
And furthermore, now I turn back to Nimbus, to the bulk of the party. So our people trapped it here, and we've been sending our people here nonetheless. How do you feel about that?
I feel that that is part of a valuable and useful tradition in our people. And have you ever earlier heard before anyone talking about this tower here? Anyone talking about voices here? It had been sealed away properly. But of course, sweet sister, you see another chance to rile up against tradition and you take it.
While Nimbus is like giving his sanctimonious speech, he's going to hear in his head, penis. 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 People. One-eyed monster. Frankenbeans. Raging Cyclops.
Oh, wow.
He was getting into a sanctimonious speech, but suddenly he hears all these words for his member in his head, and his eyes dart around. He's looking at the walls, he's looking at the sigil, he hears your voice, and he then just says out to you, "What in the 40,000 fathoms are you doing?"
Dython, go do it.
Okay. Just kind of like looks around, waiting.
You're just looking around, waiting, making it obvious that you're willing to
Just
be
a little,
taken
like,
wherever you need.
Pop.
As you stand there, Dythun, looking there, having the Featherfall token, suddenly coming out of the dark ceiling with the constellations, you just see these two ink-black tentacles reach out, wrap around your arms, and just pull you up into the darkness.
What?
What is the rest of you doing at this point, as you see Dythun just being lifted up into the darkness above you?
Do as the tentacles emerge, is there any sort of recognition from Rayn or Nimbus in seeing that?
I mean, both of you would have seen tentacles before. There are many marine creatures that do have them, but it would for you, Rayn. Had a bit of an similarity of what your Arms of Hadar would be looking like, but just a bit larger.
I will stand directly underneath where Dyphon was lifted and just kind of wait while looking up, preparing something should I see Dyphon come down.
You don't see Dyphon come down, but coming out of the darkness is one large inky tentacle that wraps around your waist and then lifts you up.
Oh, me too, Bat.
So now it's Delphine and Rebus who are out there, who are still down there with Nimbus.
I guess I still have the connection with him because I was
Yeah.
doing that. Okay.
And Nimbus looks at Rebus, and Rebus says, "I am going to release you now. I am also very curious about what this entity has in store." And they release the grip and get up and also move closer to the center and just are then pulled up by one of these tentacles. Nymbus gets up and he turns towards you, Delphine, looks at his wound that he still has from the gun bullet, and he's like, I have to admit, it was a good shot from that close. And I forgive you. I know you didn't mean to shoot me. I saw you with that shard. But I need to ask you, do not follow your companions. Do not trust this thing.
You know, you're one of these people I really hate a lot. Because you just want to bring so much good into this world. But I can assure you the last time I trusted someone fully is a few years back.
So you don't trust any of your companions?
Also, since we are both just the last ones here, please. And pointing towards the circle in the middle so that he can go first.
Oh, no. No. I will not go back there. Look, Rayn has made her decisions. She might be my sister, but I'm not just gonna run after her to get her out of danger. She got herself into this. She must get herself out of this again. I am not going back there.
So, you would like to stay here alone, in this room, surrounded by whatever this kind of thing is. Talking to you the whole time.
Oh, talking doesn't scare me. Empty rooms don't scare me. I am a Triton soldier and fighter. We know no
Becker.
fear.
Johnson. Willie.
Delphine,
Hmm.
make a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay, cool.
Because
that
there's
means
someone
I-
in his head. It's a straight roll, yeah.
Okay.
There's someone in his head distracting him with taunting words.
Oh, this is good. This is good. What is my persuasion? Oh, my persuasion is pretty good. I have 18.
18. You see, like, what he was just listing how he's a Triton soldier and not afraid of anything, but he stops in the middle of a sentence. You can't hear it, but he hears in his head again these euphemisms going through his brain. And he then says, I'm warning you, if any one of you does anything stupid up there, I'm gonna do what's best for my people. And he steps into the middle of the circle and is pulled up by a tentacle as well.
Okay.
Delphine exits the room and goes home and lives happily ever after.
Roll credits.
Oh no, I will follow then.
Okay, perfect. You all follow up, and one by one, you're pulled up into this darkness, eventually surrounded by these white lights, dancing constellations. But eventually, you plunge out of the darkness again, like almost as if you're in a reverse falling into water, which means you're going out of water. So you're basically coming out of a dark pool of this liquid, inky texture, and find yourself pulled onto a frozen shore at the edge of a pool of this inky blackness. At the edges around you, you see jagged, frozen shards surrounding the pool and this frozen shore. And just about 15 feet away from you, on the frozen shore, is a pedestal growing out of the ground, white and blue of ice. And attached on the top of the pedestal is a single flower, as if it was carved out of ice. The blossom on top is these layers of delicate, icy sheets, forming something that looks very similar to a rose. But running all through this icy plant are blue veins. And as you look around and you step out of this inky material onto the shore, you also see that beyond the edges of this is just howling wind and snow and clouds. And as you look around, you see that you are very high up. Beneath you, as you look a little bit down from the edges, you see the other spires that grew from the tower in a way that made it look like a hand reaching into the sky. You must be on the highest precipice of it now, hundreds and hundreds of feet above the ground. If you thought falling from your previous encounter would be bad, falling from this one might be even worse. And one by one, you emerge from this texture. Delphine, you came here first, but soon after, you see Rayn coming out, Nymbus, and Delphine, as you're all gathered up here now. What do you do?
By the time Rayn comes up, Delphine has already walked over and started investigating the flower.
Gotcha. You check out the flower, and it seems like it's like this icy flower that is grown into the pedestal that it's on. The temperature around it is even lower than in the rest of the area here. If you get really close to the pedestal and the flower, you really feel that on your fur, you feel this very thin sheen of ice forming. And if you're just around the pedestal, you also feel this sense of vertigo while you look at the flower, as if your depth perception is tricking you, making everything seem larger and further away. What's the rest of you doing?
I see Dyson going over to the flower, and Rayn will go halfway from where... Rayn will be like maybe between 5 and 10 feet away from Dyson and the flower. Rayn is all for just doing what needs to be done or doing what's asked her, but I have to admit, she is rather conflicted in this moment. So she's just kind of like... You see her in deep thinking. Whether thinking about this situation or thinking about other euphemisms, who knows?
All right.
Delphine is having a close eye on Nymbus.
And you do see Nymbus is also walking a little bit closer to the pedestal. And he says, "The entity showed me this. Said it was taking me so I could pull that from the pedestal. You're not gonna trust a creature like this that tells you that this is what keeps it bound here, to just pull this out, do you?" What would that be worth to you? If the cost of it would be to unleash whatever kind of evil is bound here.
Delphine turns to Rayn, almost ignoring Nimbus is saying. Do you want to leave it here?
There is absolutely no allowed. There's absolutely no way to guarantee or ensure that whatever this is going to do it again to my people in the sea or to anyone else in the material plane. I don't fancy myself any sort of hero of the people or any sort of boring pedestrian notions like that. But this feels a bit personal.
You see Nimbus looking at you, Rayn. I hope the conclusion you draw from that is that you cannot do this, what it is asking of you. The only sensible thing is here to find a way to get out of this place again. And make sure that whoever is more competent to see the further away and make sure that no one else is tricked into coming here. Make sure that Ice White Isle remains its prison.
Hold on a second. Have you been saying like a few minutes ago that like tradition and stuff like this, and isn't it your tradition to come here and slay beasts and take stuff back home?
That is correct.
As long as this thing is remaining here, and as long as your people will come here, there's always something that they can't try to possess and stuff.
But at the same time, my people can also protect this island and keep curious people like you off of it to make sure.
That worked perfectly.
Are you taunting me?
Oh yeah.
You are very tauntable.
This is no time for joking, Rayn. But I guess I forgot that everything is a joke to you.
Nimbus, I have a question of you.
What do you want?
Much of your namesake, do you have any way of floating or flying?
I do not.
Then I suggest you shut up.
Are you telling me what to do? I'm a commander of my people. I have been very gracious with all of you, and I thank you for your interference for getting me out of this mind control. But I feel like someone here has to take a lead in this situation.
It's definitely not you.
Terrain. Can I punch him again?
I stick my wet finger into his fin ear.
You gonna give
Wet willy
him
him.
a wet willy.
Yes.
Roll for wet willy. Give me.
As such, giving the help action.
Giving the help action for whatever
Whatever.
anyone else would like to do.
Yeah.
Delphine, you want to take a swing?
I think honestly, Delphine just wants to like get him on the ground. Like
Alright.
less like punch for damage, more like try and like sweep his foot and like knock him to the ground, kind of thing.
All right. If you want to try to knock him for that, you can still give me an attack roll, but you have advantage on that because Rayn is wet willying him, and come for the 10 situations where people get wet willied at Horde of Tales.
What do I add to this strength?
Shouldn't
Like,
that
just like
be
unarmed
improvised or
It's an unarmed attack, so
Yeah, unarmed strike, yeah.
so you add your strength, and I don't think you're proficient in unarmed attacks, so not your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, I doubt it. Well, no, my unarmed strike has a +4, which should be my proficiency in strength.
Then
So
add
I
a
guess
plus
I
4. Then add a plus 4.
am. 19.
19. While Nimbus is still like trying to fend off his sister, you just like sweep his legs and he just comes crashing down on the ground.
I'm gonna sit on his, sit over him and keep him down.
Pull out the javelin and like stick it like at his neck.
While Rayn is sitting down on him, he's just not on the ground like, this insolence is inexcusable.
Rayn, would you cook this? Thank you.
You surround yourself with rebel, Rayn.
Brother, we're not doing this because some clearly evil and chaotic creature is asking us to. We're doing it because we want to. We're not here doing it any favors. We're not here bending to become its thralls. We're here because we're part of a bigger story.
He just growls at it. There's this frustrated growl coming from him, and as he's... At this point, sees no escape for his current situation. Rebus listens to that, what you're saying, Rayn, and Rebus is just listening to it, but then you see their face turning towards the flower again. So, would it be, what are we going to do? If we take the flower, we can bring it back to Laura and also trump our Deathgate rivals. We're not sure what we're going to unleash.
They want just, I say while holding up, they want information. They want something about it, right? Grab a leaf. Grab a petal. If the Triton's gonna come here anyway to further seal it, they'd best hurry along then.
Rebus looks up and you see the light in their cracked faceplate like shifts for a moment, like almost like in a bit of surprise. Do you suggest we try to just take a piece of it?
There was never a saying that we need to take all of it. We just need to bring something, like some kind of artifact. No one has a clue what it is.
But who of us will take it then?
I dare say I might be most suited for that. It is an artifact of Rizia, after all. It will be very cold.
You want to change then? So that you can take it? I would love to sit on him.
So you are into the combat type, Delphine.
No, I'm into comfy places.
I pat Nymbus's cheek. He will remain sealed, whatever it is, and maybe we'll even give you a bit of a ride so you can just dive back down immediately and tell the elders to, hurry up the resealing. You're no worse off than you were before.
He remains quiet. So you two switch places.
Yes.
Delphine's sitting down on Nimbus.
With the javelin near him.
And Rayn, you want to approach the flower and try to just pick a part of it.
Going to, I assume there's a lot of snow around me.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna grab some snow and quickly melt it. And using control water, shape water, I want to just give myself a very thin, like almost like a little ice glove. maybe that buffer's temperature will crack before reaching my hand, but I don't know.
All right. You create like a very improvised kind of protective layer, and you reach out. Your hands come close to the blossom. You feel the drop in temperature, even for your resilience to this cold element. You can feel the freezing temperatures sink through your scales, into your skin, into your flesh. Your fingertips actually becoming this dark blue, almost black, as you reach out. But you hold grip on a part of the blossom. You want to try to break it off?
I'm gonna try to break off an errant leaf from the stem.
Errant leaf. An errant leaf you get grip on. You exert your strength. And as you do, I would like you to make an intelligence saving throw.
It's a nat 20, 21 total.
Yes. Perfect.
You break it off. And the world around all of you becomes quiet. The only thing you hear is a crack sound. An errant leaf snapped off of the flower. The wind goes silent. Snow stops falling. And Rayn, you feel this cold that came in through your fingertips, races further through your arms, black veins following it, crawling up the length of your arm, through your shoulder, across your chest, deep into your heart. Everything tenses. Your fingers clam onto this errant leaf, holding on tight, holding on tight. And in your mind, all you can see is a tapestry of eyes opening, looking at you. You're the only one who can now hear this voice. A deeper tone, an echoing tone. Trixie, Trixie, Trixie. Not doing as you're asked. But finding a way around.
See you never.
Oh, I'll see you. My gift is with you. And though you have not uprooted the plant, you tore away a leaf, and a crack has opened. In time, every crack becomes a gate, and every gate becomes an eye. The eyes that you see close one by one, until there's just one green eye looking down at you. The lid slowly closing. And then it shuts. You snap back. All of you, what you see, you just saw Rayn going completely frozen still for a moment. What you also see is that after that crack sound comes, you see, and I actually have to do a quick roll for Rebus to see what happens.
Danger sense.
Does not apply to intelligence saving throws.
Oh.
You see, as that crack followed, you see Rebus' light in the cracked visor flickers. Rebus puts their hands to their head. zzz, zzz. Then the light goes stable again. Stable glow. And Rayn, also, you snap out of your freezing state. You still take, even though your save was magnificent, you still take 5 points of cold damage, which is half because you're resistant, so 2 points of cold damage. And 10 points of psychic damage. Half because you succeeded on the save, so 5 points of
Thank God for
damage.
temporary hit points.
And you then see the quiet still around you. Rayn, you're standing there. You have a petal of the flower in your hands. The wind is still silent all around you. What do all of you do?
I grab some more snow and I start crafting like this sort of sphere of ice that is hollow in the middle. And I drop the piece of the flower in it and I close the sphere of ice. So at least it's cold, but I'm not directly touching it, even though this ice is probably colder than any other ice I've handled. But it's at least, it's what I have right now on me.
You put it into this improvised frozen container, basically. Gotcha.
Could we put it in the satchel of holding? Because it's a different plane, like a micro plane.
You can certainly try. Rebus looks around, shakes their head. Oh, this quiet is quite nice. The wind has stopped.
That might not be good.
Oh, I just remembered something. That might be interesting to know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure about the theory. But it could be because this island is different or influenced by a different plane, and there were some difference in the time scales that Darian and Matrif told us. So it could be that time flows differently here, and maybe because we did this to the flower, that there is now a change in this. Maybe. But just a theory.
We'd best get out of here.
As you say that, Rayn, I would like all of you to make a perception check, please.
Mind you're in exhaustion. I think someone else is also exhausted.
Rebus is exhausted.
Rebus is exhausted.
Oh! Wow.
9 for Rayn.
20. I rolled 2 19s.
Nice. Nathan, what did you get?
23.
23. Ooh. So,
Also rolled a 9.
Cold.
Dython and Delphine, as Rayn says that we might want to get out of here, you hear in the depth beneath you, you hear something cracking.
Dython just kind of rolls his eyes.
Again.
Do we need to push? How many times do I gonna have to push this all off a cliff?
I don't have the capabilities today, right now. Delphine, mind handing those out? Put them on Dython's tab this time.
Rebus looks around. I'm sorry. What are we talking about right now?
Okay, I'm taking out the feather tokens and hand them over basically to wait. How many did I have? I had 5. One was used. So
Dython has
4.
one rather. Oh no.
So
you
3.
gave 1 to 3. 3 of 3.
Okay, yeah. I'm giving one to Rebus, I'm giving one to Yura, and I'm taking one for my own. And I'm having a firm hold onto Rayn's brother.
Oh.
I think we best switch Delphine. And
Oh
brother,
no, we made quite a nice friendship so far. Isn't it? I'm putting the deck a little bit tighter on his neck.
That's not necessary, though, is it? Right, brother?
Oh, I like
What?
it a lot.
What are you planning? What kind of?
You could ask me to do that, Delphine. I mean, we don't have to go through all these lengths.
What is going on here?
As a player, I still have my my gust. I think
As a
Delphine
player,
used
I
it.
still have my Gus as well.
Okay, okay.
Let me a little bit of fun. Will you?
Daphne's just gonna look between the two of them. Either way, we need to move soon.
Well, the floor is going to move underneath us. Oh, all right, all right.
The problem will solve itself.
Rebus attached the Featherfall token to themselves, and they look over the edge like, this does really become a trend with us, does it not?
Yes.
Oh, brother, this is going to be so much fun. Hang on tightly.
Are you? And you, who is holding on to Nimbus at this point? Is it Delphine? Okay, so Delphine, you're basically like lifting up Nimbus, and you walk over to the edge, as he goes like, "What?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You are not. No, you shall unhand me."
Brother, it's all right. We'll finally be together.
And you just what? Rayn, no! As he sees you falling.
Daphne turns around. Welcome to the Clifftop Adventurers.
Falls off as well. Rebus gets like up to the edge, looks at who's remaining. Apologies, we'll explain later, and then just also leaps off.
Okay, to make this a little bit secure, I will tie a rope around him. Not that he is falling faster.
More
suddenly.
secure? What is secure about all of this?
Shut up, and then after he is secured, I will push him over the edge.
No! And I'm assuming you're falling like with.
Yes, exactly.
He falls, goes like, no! And you fall down, and the last shot we have is like everyone just in this little bit of distance between, it's like falling off the edge of this clawed hand-shaped tower. The wind quiet around you. The only thing flapping around you is now the velocity of your fall, as you have just the smallest petal of the flower with you and make your dramatic exit of the tower on Ice White Isle. And how all of this continues, we'll find out next week in our next session of Convergence Manifesto. All right. Thanks for that, everyone.
We started with a fall, we ended with a fall. This is a good
Ended
session.
with a fall.
This one was more purposeful, so it feels better.
It almost feels like you need to make an exit in all of your missions with a fall somewhere. Like it's you people need like brooms of flying or something.
I know
No,
what my next magical item is.
Oh, just for one clarification, the Gauntlets of Ogre Power, I'm assuming you took those with you when you took them from.
They were
Nimbus.
they were in Dyphon's possession so far.
Dyson put them
Oh, I
on
like
even.
put them on.
Okay.
I just
Nancy-
know that I haven't attuned to them yet.
Right. Perfect.
But
You
he's
put them on.
wearing them.
Perfect. Makes sense. That's what the magic items are for. All right. That was a fun session. You basically achieved what you came for here. Now I'm very curious to see how we wrap up this chapter of the adventure, but we're going to find out more about that next week. Before we leave for today, Ida, do we have anything going on here which you would like to share?
We do. So, for all the awesome people that follow us on Twitter, we recently put out a call because we are looking for amazing women in the TTRPG community to join us in an event we're working on to host next month in June, where we want to give our platform to celebrate, to support, and to uplift women who want to talk about, who want to have panels and discussions about topics they're experts in TTRPG, who want to maybe helm a one-shot or play in a one-shot. And we have the form on our Twitter. Please sign up because we have some amazing applicants, and we're going to be closing it in maybe
A few
end
days.
of the week, in a few
Mhm.
days ish, to be determined. But once we get the ball rolling, I really hope to meet a lot of amazing people, going to grow our community, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So if you're interested, thank you for putting that link in the chat, Marcus. Check it out, sign up. And one more thing from us to you. We would also appreciate anyone who wants to volunteer behind the scenes. So this is not exclusive for Win, but behind the scenes, if you want to perhaps lend your computer and internet power to hosting some of the streams on the technical side, please reach out to us in Discord privately, and we would love some more help on the production side to better give that platform to the aforementioned women. That would be really swell and awesome of you.
Indeed. Yeah, really looking forward to that. I hope we're going to have some very fun games and other sessions in June. So if you're interested, the link is in the chat to sign up. And also, please let us know if you're willing to help on the back end. I'm always happy to have other people behind the screen to have also involved in these kind of things. Is there anything else for anyone else going on currently that you would like to share? Except for surviving adventures on a frozen island.
Hey, Marcus, what are you doing this weekend?
Oh, well, actually, that is a good point. I actually do have some plans this weekend. Not just do I have plans, but Ida is also involved in this. The coming weekend, that is 28 and 29 May, there is the Roll for Good games charity streams all weekend long. Roll for Good is a charity stream that is this year going to collect money for World Central Kitchen, an amazing organization that makes sure people in crisis and conflict areas are fed and have access to nutritious food. And Roll for Good is this year doing charity streams to gather funds for that amazing charity. There is going to be a bunch of cool games, including there is a D&D game, but there's also a mecha hack game, which is for everyone who loves some good old school Gundam stuff. We have a Fiasco game, which personally, I think Fiasco is such a fun game to play because it is written to end in chaos. And I'm very curious to see what the Roll for Good team puts on for that. We have a stream where I will join, and also a stream that is ran by Philippa, who actually joined the Women in Gaming month last year. And Philippa is going to run a game of Fairy Corgi Steeplechase, in which teams of corgis and fairies try to win the Grand Fairy Corgi Cup. And Ida will be emceeing on one of those days, so making sure that there's a nice handover from stream to stream and connecting it all together. So if you want to see a wide variety of different TTRPGs and also help out an extremely great cause, and I cannot stress how great World Central Kitchen is, with the great work they've already done in the years that they exist. Recently, this year, very involved in helping out in Ukraine and making sure that food is getting to the people there. You should definitely check out Roll for Good. Ida put the link to their Twitter into the chat. So hope to see you this weekend at Roll for Good.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, yes.
Awesome.
Austin.
I'm gonna step in for Serial being absent and just saying, hey, Serial makes great art. Go support them. They made this. It's a print. It's not showing up because I'm blurring the background. Hold on.
Trying to look at your character sheet.
There we go. There we go. Look at that. Boom. It's great.
Boom.
It's, I believe, still available on the Etsy shop. I think you can still pick it up. Go support them. They're awesome.
I am actually also putting the link to the Etsy shop of Serial into the chat, and I'm quickly scrolling. And yes, that print is still available in the Etsy shop. So if you want that and any of the other amazing prints and just support our amazing co-player and amazing artist Serial, check out their shop, check out their Twitter, and support them because that art is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, Austin. Well then, it's time for us to also leap off the edge and fall to the end of our session. And we're going to be back next week. Same time, same place, Horde of Tales. So thank you very much for hanging out. If you want to keep in touch with us, follow us on our Twitter, join us on our Discord. And if you want to see how often the party has already fallen off of things or jumped off of clicks, check our VODs on youtube.com/Horde of Tales. And feel free to also subscribe there. All right, then. It was a great time again. Thanks, everyone. Take care and see you next week.
Anaconda,
Bye-bye.
disco stick, kickstand, rooster.